Have you ever seen something that just completely breaks the laws of physics? Something so impossible it makes you question everything you thought you knew? Well, today we're going to dive into how one single unbelievable viral video did exactly that and sparked this whole journey from a jaw-dropping event to a pretty profound philosophy on life. Okay, before we get into the wild stuff, I need you to remember one number. Just one. 16. It might not sound like a lot, but trust me, these 16 seconds, they are the absolute key to everything we're about to talk about. It was a moment where reality itself just seemed to bend. And that brings us to the big, mind-bending question at the heart of all this. Could a massive, totally out-of-control mudslide just stop to let a van drive past? I know, it sounds like something out of a superhero movie, right? But for the author of our source material, this was a moment that felt completely, undeniably real. So it all kicks off with this piece of footage that just blew up online. You know the kind of video you just can't look away from because what you're seeing feels like it just shouldn't be possible. Okay, so try to picture this. You've got this narrow village road, totally soaked from these insane rains. And then, all of a sudden, the hillside just lets go. A furious river of mud, rocks, and trees just comes roaring down the slope. Basically a liquid avalanche, wiping out everything in its path. And right there at the bottom of the hill, completely trapped, is a white van. I mean, it is a moment of pure heart-in-your-throat terror. There is absolutely no way out. But then, the impossible happens. This unstoppable force of nature, literally tons of moving earth and debris, just stops. It freezes solid, comes to a dead, silent standstill, like someone in the sky just hit a giant pause button. In that totally silent, suspended moment, the van's driver just floors it, peeling out of the danger zone. And it's only after the van is totally clear that the mudslide roars back to life and continues on its destructive path. And how long did that impossible pause last? You guessed it, the 16 seconds we talked about. So how on earth do you explain that? Is it some bizarre one-in-a-billion natural phenomenon? Or is it something else? For the author, this event wasn't just weird, it was a full-blown revelation, something that just shattered all the rules of logic. And this is where things take a really sharp turn away from common sense. I mean, our rational brain is screaming, no way, that's impossible. A river of mud doesn't have a brain, it doesn't have intentions. But for the author, this was no accident. It was a conscious, purposeful act. They became convinced the mudslide chose to pause, to save a human life. That one moment completely reshaped the author's worldview, and it led them to this core belief right here. The idea is that the universe isn't actually limited by our understanding of the rules. The things we call impossible are really just things we haven't been able to imagine yet. So this idea that the universe can literally step in, it became the foundation for a whole philosophy. The author didn't see a freak accident. They saw proof of a moral order in the universe, a principle that we can just call heaven helps. Think about that. From a single 16-second pause, the author pulled out an entire moral code. The main idea is that there's this kind of cosmic justice system. If you live a good life, if you have good intentions, a higher power has your back, even against something like an unstoppable mudslide. And this right here is the crucial leap of faith. The author's logic is that the person in that van must have been a person of good character. So the paused mudslide wasn't just a random miracle, it was a reward. It was a physical sign of divine protection that was earned through good intentions. Now, this whole philosophy isn't just an abstract theory about some weird video. The author backs it all up with a powerful, totally life-changing story of their own, a moment where they felt this divine intervention firsthand. So, the author's own life followed this really similar transformative arc. They were in a car crash so bad that, by all logic, they shouldn't have survived. But they just walked away. And for them, that wasn't luck. It was a second miracle. One that completely wiped out their old ambitions, their ego, and dedicated the rest of their life to a higher purpose. And get this, that was the very first thought that popped into their head as they stood there in the wreckage. Not, I'm hurt, not shock, just this immediate, overwhelming certainty. It was God who saved me. They felt like their life wasn't even theirs anymore. This whole experience gave them a new motto for life, a statement of just total surrender. The idea is to hand over your life, your whole journey,
to a higher power, to the Tao. It's about letting go of the need to control everything and just trusting the path that's laid out for you.
Okay, so where does all this lead? The author basically takes the lesson from the mudslide and the miracle from their own survival and synthesizes it all into a final philosophy for living what they call the best life, or the optimal life. So here's the formula. The path to this optimal life, a life that might even get you that divine protection, is one of just radical selflessness. It means letting go of your ego, ditching your attachments, giving up that illusion that you're in control. It means you accept what comes, you live in harmony with your fate, and you act with a kind of natural spontaneity. And so we come full circle. From a 16-second video clip of a mudslide, this entire guide to life, faith, and morality was born. It's really a powerful story about how we make sense of the world around us. And it leaves us with this one final, really fascinating question. How can a single fleeting video so completely and totally reshape a person's entire worldview?